Hello everyone, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay. Welcome to this session, everyone. This session is being organized by Nagar College, Maranalloor, Trivandrum. Our institution was established in, wait a second, someone wants to join. Yeah, as I was saying, this session is being organized by the PG Department of English, Nagar College, Maranalloor. Please mute your microphones. Yes, it's being organized by the PG Department of English, Nagar College, Maranalloor, Trivandrum. Our education institution was established in 2012. It's a premier educational institution managed by the CMI fathers who follow the reverent footsteps of Saint Kuriakose Elias Chavara in revolutionizing the educational sector of Kerala. Now, before we begin this session, our benevolent patron and manager, Reverend Father Siriyak Madathis, has agreed to join the session. I welcome him to this session. Next, I'd like to welcome the man of the hour, Mr. Padmanabha Reddy. A brief intro of our resource person. Mr. Reddy graduated from Motilal Nehru College, University of Delhi, where he was the recipient of the Academic Excellence Award. He has a master's from St. Stephen's College, Delhi. He is currently a full-time doctoral. Please mute your microphone. He is currently a full-time doctoral researcher in English literature at Cardiff University and the University of Bristol, UK. His research is fully funded by the British government's AHRC DTP scholarship. Up next, I would like to welcome Professor Dr. Chitra VR, Head of the Department, PG Department of English, Nagar College, Maranalloor. I would like to acknowledge the support of our principal, Dr. Jolly Jacob, and academic director, Professor Dr. Devaguma PS, in their absence. I would like to welcome my teachers and fellow colleagues to this session, and last but not the least, our students and participants. Padmanabh, you there?
Hello. Yes, I'm there.
Hello. Yeah. Evening or rather afternoon, right? What time is it?
Yeah, it's afternoon over here in the UK.
This afternoon here in the UK. We are glad to have you. We are glad to host you at CNC. I'll let you take it over from this point. But for the sake of our audience, would you please walk us through your academic journey?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Mithun. Mithun is a really good friend of mine. Yeah, we have been academic colleagues a long time ago. We are really good friends. Thank you, Mithun, for calling me in. So I come from Hyderabad. And I studied English literature, bachelor's in Motilal Nehru College, Delhi University, where I topped my college. And I was around in the top 30 in Delhi University at that time. This was 2022 that we are talking about. And then I joined St. Stephen's College as a master's student. I was a resident over there. I stayed inside the college itself, resident scholar. And then I'm currently a PhD student as well as a graduate tutor. I teach English literature as well in Cardiff University and University of Bristol. So it's a joint PhD in both the universities together, and this is funded by the British government.
Yeah, thank you for that. That is Padmanabha Reddy in a nutshell. He is a very intimate friend of mine. I think we first met back at the New Delhi World Book Fair, where my PM Yuva Award-winning novel was released. And yes. Now, you said you were funded by the British government. What is the name of the scholarship?
So this scholarship's title is SWWDTP, South, West and Wales Doctoral Training Partnership. So this comes under the AHRC. AHRC is the parent organization. AHRC stands for Arts and Humanities Research Council. So there are multiple councils inside AHRC, and this is one of those sub-councils. So the sub-councils are divided based on the region. The geographical region. So London has a different sub-council. The Midlands have a different sub-council. Scotland has a different sub-council, and the Southwest and Wales have a different sub-council, to which I belong to. So this is called SWWDTP.
SWWDTP, right?
Mithun, your camera is muted. I guess.
Am I visible now?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is a consortium of sorts, right? How many universities are included here, and do we count prestigious universities like Cambridge, Oxford, and obviously your Cardiff and Bristol are there, right? Years is there, I think, right?
I think there's a network issue from my side or your side. I don't know. Can you repeat the question, please?
Yeah, I'll repeat the question. How many universities are part of this consortium?
So
Okay,
my current consortium is 10 universities combined. So
okay,
I don't have an exact number of the total number of universities in the UK. It should be around 40 to 50, roughly.
okay, okay. And this includes universities like Oxford, Cambridge too, right?
Yes. Oxford, Cambridge, and Open University come under a consortium called as OOC, Open Oxford Cambridge.
Okay, yours is SWW,
Yes.
right? And then
SWW.
there's yeah. So it's a regional theme going on here, right?
Yes.
Yes, and Oxford, Cambridge, and Open University fall under Open Oxford Cambridge Consortium.
Yes.
Yes. So roughly speaking, how many studentships, as they are called in the UK, if I'm not mistaken, how many
So
of these scholarships?
under the AHRC until 2025, until the 2025 intake, as far as I
Yeah.
am aware, is around 400 to 500 for just for arts and humanities across UK. I'm not talking about Cardiff only. I'm talking about
Okay.
across UK, which includes all of England, Wales, Scotland, and Northern Ireland as well. We shouldn't be missing in Queen's University Belfast, which is a part of Northern Bridge.
Yeah. All right then. So when does the application window usually open for these scholarships?
Usually it opens around September to October.
Okay.
So there is a change. There's a change in how the funding will operate from next year. I'll come to that later. But
Okay.
usually the scholarship applications open around September, October-ish, and they will close around start of Jan to end of Jan. So you shouldn't be expecting anything after Jan. So they'll,
Okay.
as far as I remember, I submitted my application on 22nd of Jan 2024.
Okay.
So that's how it works.
Okay. So, what does the application process entail in the sense that, like, do you need a fully fleshed out concept note or an abstract, or just the idea will do, or how do you reach out to prospective clients?
So I'll give you I can give you all a kind of a roadmap how to approach this. So the funding, as far as I understand it, I'm only talking about AHRC in particular. I'm not talking about the other scholarships. Right? I'm only talking about the
Okay. Okay. Please
yeah.
continue.
I'm only talking about AHRC in particular. For AHRC, the biggest USP is your proposal.
Okay.
The better your proposal is, the better chances you have of getting the funding.
Yeah. Excuse me. Yeah. Sorry for that. Please
No
continue.
worries, no worries. I'll
Yeah.
continue. So
Okay.
the first step, what I would advise is to contact your supervisors. That you would do by basically cold emailing. Cold emailing works. It worked for me. It worked for a couple of my friends. So yeah, it will work for you. But before you email any of your prospective supervisors, you should have your proposal with you. At least a preliminary stage of your proposal. I would suggest go for 1500 words. 1500 words includes all the starting from introduction, your literature review, methodology, your research questions, and all, excluding bibliography. Bibliography doesn't count under 1500, but I would say the flesh of the proposal has to be 1500. And I would strongly recommend to have a very good literature review, because that is the heart and soul of your proposal itself. Once you're done writing your proposal, then you can mail your supervisors. How to get their mails? Go to the university's website, check the faculty profile. You can filter them according to the research area, or sometimes you just can't filter according to research area, so you have to basically manually look at them. Okay, there is this XYZ professor. What is this professor working on? If this, let us say you're working on let's say Victorian literature, or something on Tennyson, let us say. So then you'll go look what this professor is working on and what all this professor has supervised on. Then you can contact them accordingly, stating that, dear professor, This is what I found. This is what I found with your research. It is overlapping. This is how you do it. Then once you get a yes from a professor, then you can move forward with your application form. In this is a very critical step, because now you have to look at your specific consortium's requirements. For instance, if you go for LAHP, that's London Arts and Humanities program, you don't have to take two universities. That's not mandatory. In London Arts and Humanities program, LAHP, you can just go with one institution. I have a friend of mine who's doing their PhD on something, but yeah, they are in KCL, so that KCL comes under LHP, and they did not have to take a second institution. But that's not the case for mine. For me, according to the rules, I had to take up two. So you need a primary supervisor. In that case, that for me is from Cardiff, and then you go for the secondary supervisor, uh, and then you get a yes from both of them, and then you go and apply. So in this case, if at all your consortium is asking for two supervisors, then your primary supervisor, the university that contains your primary supervisor, will become your primary institution as well. That is that through that institution you'll be applying for your visa, if at all you get it. That's where you'll be located in. So Bristol is just 1 hour away from where I live. I live in Cardiff, but I usually don't go to Bristol. I go to Bristol like once a month or once in 2 months. I usually don't go there. I'm completely based in Cardiff. Although I have a Bristol ID card with me, I have all the access to Bristol's infrastructure, but that's how it works. Then once you fill up your form, the form contains all sorts of things, starting from what are your expectations, your proposal, your bibliography, and then if at all you want to take up any internships during your PhD, that's placements. So they don't call it internships in the PhD; they call it placements. But basically, that is an internship for all its technical purposes. Then once you're done with it, then you submit, and you just wait. But at the same time you also should have submitted an application to your primary institution as well, because just submitting an application to the scholarship team is not enough for AHRC. For instance, I had to apply to Cardiff as well as to AHRC. So once I got the AHRC, then I did not have to apply for Bristol. Bristol just comes over to you. If you get the HRC, if all the funding is done, then Bristol will obviously mail you. That's what happened in my case. It will be similar in your case as well, but rules might change. Rules might change. We don't have the entire rules yet. They are still being formulated. So we need to keep an eye on how it happens this year.
Yeah. So talking about reaching out to prospective guides, how receptive do you think they are to our mails? I mean, does it depend on the individual, or do they encourage emails and all?
That's a good question, actually. I had that question when I was mailing as well. And then I used to wonder why professors don't get back to us often. When I started as a PhD student in UK, then I realized why they don't get back. Because we are bombarded with emails on our Outlook. We don't use Gmail in this country. We use Outlook. And we are bombarded with every single thing on our Outlook. So basically, sometimes genuinely a mail misses by. Once I got a mail from someone to review their work, and then I genuinely missed it. I genuinely missed it because it just went away. It just was dumped down somewhere. And then the person, when they reached out to me again, then I was like, okay, I'm really sorry about it. I couldn't see it because it was just dumped down below. Right. Some professors will write back to you, like a professor from Oxford wrote back to me stating that, you know what, I'm not in this area. I cannot supervise you. But some people won't even reply. Some people will get back to you, but I would always suggest you, if you mail 20 professors, at least 5 will reply. That is what I would say. 5 or 6 will reply, but don't but at least give 15 days for the reply. At least give couple of weeks, because that falls outside their work area, their work time, their work commitments, right? So I would suggest giving at least 15 days.
Okay. So 1 in 20 is like sorry, 5 in 20 is like 1/4 the success rate, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So does the AHRC have a list of trust areas? I'm not talking about professors. Obviously, they would have areas where they're interested in. I'm talking about the AHRC, the governing body that offers the scholarships. Do they prefer that we, send proposals on certain trust areas?
The new guidelines might do that. The earlier guidelines did not, because in my case, all it just said was everything in arts and humanities, which can mean basically anything. That ranges from law to anthropology, right? It can mean anything. But now, because the DTP system is scrapped, 2025 intake was a final intake, and there is no DTP system from here on. There will be a different system, a completely different system called as landscape system, in which they will have their thrust areas, because the government wants to keep way more control on what they are funding now.
All right. So you talked about concept notes, right? Do we have a template or something that we can refer to? I mean, a website or something, any resource you could point us towards? Maybe
You
you could
mean
share
you
some
mean the proposal, right?
proposal that got accepted.
That is difficult to get, to be honest, because legally we are not allowed to share our proposals,
Okay.
because of a lot of restrictions, obviously. But you can ask someone, you can personally reach out to someone who has submitted the PhDs.
Okay.
You can reach out to them, because they might give it to you. But let us say if somebody's currently a PhD student under the HRC or under any institution across the UK, you might not get it, because legally we are not allowed to, and there is always a chance of misuse of that particular proposal. So it is kind of difficult, but usually follow, there is no hard and fast rule of writing a proposal, is what I would say. uh,
Yeah.
Go on with the standard thing. And what I would suggest is, don't use jargon. Don't use
Okay.
jargon while writing. uh, Reviewers will hate jargon, because I'm also currently the chair of the student committee in the SWWDTP. I kind of know how the funding system actually works, and whom they fund and whom they not fund. Usually the people who are sitting on the panel deciding whom to give the scholarship and whom not to give the scholarship do not have a complete expertise on every application that they get. For instance, someone can be a professor in history, but he'll be that person will be very good in their area, but they will have zero knowledge about, let us say, if somebody is doing on international law. Law comes under both social sciences as well as humanities, so it all depends on how you word it in the proposal. That's the reason I ask people not to use jargons, because it should be easy to understand. If a layman reads your proposal, the layman should be able to understand, okay, I kind of understand what this person is doing, although I've not read this person's works, this what this person is pointing towards, but kind of understand what he is doing. And this particular thing has a thing. But and also, one more thing to keep in your mind is impact factor matters a lot in the UK. uh, the first thing that we were told after we came to UK was, the biggest factor in your research funding, anything, even if I want to apply for a fund to go to a conference, the first question that they will ask in the form itself is, what is the research impact? What kind of impact are you expecting from your particular research that will generate a certain kind of certain kind of output, so that it is justified for the consortium to pay you certain amount of money for certain amount of years, right? It should be justified. So avoid jargon.
Yeah.
don't
So
don't
avoid jargon.
don't try to act smart. Be smart. That's what I
Okay.
would say.
Okay. Avoid jargons. Be crisp. Be clear. Be succinct. And
Yes.
my next doubt is, are there country-wise quotas for scholarships like this? As in, they have a fixed number of scholarships to offer to India, and do they have country-wise quotas?
No, that is there for roads, not for AHRC. Roads has a countrywide quota. Like currently, India gets six scholarships per year from roads, but AHRC doesn't explicitly have such a system. but they do offer to underrepresented communities as well. That I'm pretty much well aware of because of EDI regulations from the UK government. But
Okay.
it is not explicit. It is not explicit how much percentage or how many people that they'll be giving in a particular year.
All right. So, does one need to
Like
be
to
well?
like if this makes you any clear, in my batch there were only 25 people from all across the world in SWWDTP. This year's
Okay.
number I can't reveal it out how many people got it this year, but yeah, last year's number I can. 25 people
Okay.
got it last year, and among them there are only 2 Indians.
Only
Uh,
2 Indians.
yeah, only 2 Indians. I it is not clear if there were many people who applied from India, or if their proposals are not good enough. We will never know the real reasons. But there were quite few internationals. There was one from Canada, one from Nigeria, and
Okay.
two or three from Serbia. So we have a very good international cohort. It's not like only the UK people get it.
Yeah.
Internationals can get it.
Yeah. This is only for your cohort, right? SWW. There are
Yes,
others.
yes. But the
Oh,
other cohorts I'm
can.
not aware of. I'm not aware of the numbers.
Yeah. Yeah. So my next doubt is: do you need to be well published to even have a chance of securing these
No,
scholarships?
not really. I haven't published anything. Right.
Okay.
I haven't published anything until my master's. And to be honest, you are not expected to publish anything until your master's in the UK. If you do, it's good and it's good. It's well and good. But the USP for AHRC is not your publication. It's your proposal.
Proposal.
So in during your PhD, you are expected to publish. I
Okay.
mean, it's not compulsory, but it's good if you publish at least 2 by the end of your PhD. But
Okay.
yeah, not before it.
Okay. So the quality of your topic and proposal matters more than your background, your
Yes,
publications, etc. Right?
yes.
All right. Got it. Okay. Now we have UG students, undergrad students attending this session as well. So
Mhm.
can you talk about allied or adjunct scholarships, like opportunities available for them at the master's level, not just the PhD?
Sure.
Yeah.
So the first scholarship, so I wanted to apply for Commonwealth as well, but I couldn't
Yeah.
because of some personal reasons. But what I would suggest, if I were an undergrad student and if I were applying for masters, I would look out for 4 to 5 scholarships. The first one is
Yeah.
Commonwealth. It is one of the best scholarships available. It falls under the Ministry of Education and the British Council. So apply for it. The applications might have started. I don't actually know if they started or not, but they usually start around September, October. So keep an eye on Commonwealth. The second would be INLACs. But to even be able to apply for INLAC scholarships, you should have an offer letter from the university, and that should be an unconditional offer letter. Getting that wouldn't be hard because you don't have to pay money and all to get your offer letter. It's just an offer letter, right? So you need to have your unconditional offer letter before applying for INLACs, right? That's the second one. Third one,
Yeah.
and maybe the scholarship that has the most publicity all across the world, is Rhodes. Rhodes gives you an opportunity to study in Oxford, right? So I wouldn't miss a chance to apply to Rhodes, right? So Rhodes is really good. You all should apply for Rhodes. It is a scholarship that will open a lot of doors for you. For instance, I know someone from Stephens. He was a junior of mine. He got Rhodes in 2023. Yeah, he got the Rhodes for 2023, and he applied for MPhil in South Asian studies, and he got into it. Then after his MPhil, he now transferred from his MPhil to DPhil, that is PhD in Oxford, and Rhodes is still funding it, right? So you can
Yeah.
take that route too. That is for Rhodes, but Rhodes is way more. What I would say is rigorous. They actually don't say what they require. They just say that good academic record, good extracurricular record. But what does good entail? They clearly have no such thing. But yeah. And the next one, what I would say, would be chevening. But go for chevening only if you have work experience, or else you won't be eligible. You should at least have 2 years work experience if you want to go for chevening. Then the next one would be your state government or central government scholarships. So central government has a scholarship for underprivileged students, SC, STs, and OBCs. What I would, yeah, I think so. I'm not really aware of the scholarship's name. You might have to look it up. But that scholarship actually gives you a good amount of money to study in the UK. That stipend, they'll give you a stipend worth around 700 pounds ish, which I wouldn't say a lot, but it's all right. You can survive on that. And then they'll
Yeah.
pay your entire fees of whatever college you get into. That is for central government scholarships. And then look into your state government scholarships as well. I I don't have enough knowledge about every state's scholarships, but I am aware that Rajasthan has a scholarship. If you are domiciled in Rajasthan, if any one of you is domiciled in Rajasthan, then you can take up you can take up this scholarship called as it was called Vivekanand scholarship, if I'm not wrong. So they provide you fees, they provide you your visa, your flight once a year back, once a year forth and back, and then they'll also provide you a stipend, a very modest stipend of 500, not more than that, but you get it. You get what I'm trying to say. That's what I would say. And not just for UK. If you want to go for Europe, then look for Erasmus. Erasmus wouldn't have all the courses in literature, but let us say if somebody wants to work in children's literature, last year there was an opening in children's literature. So you need to maybe search if they have an opening in a particular strand of literature, a particular area of literature in your masters as well. I would suggest go for it because Erasmus is really good. It's very prestigious as well, right? And
Yeah.
yeah, I think that sums it up. And then also look for individual scholarships for every university, because for instance Oxford has its own scholarships, Cambridge has its own scholarships, Cambridge has its Cambridge Nehru scholarships, Cambridge has its own Gates scholarship and all.
Cambridge
Oxford
Gates
has its own.
Scholarship, which I think is the Cambridge equivalent of the Rhodes Scholarship of Oxford, right? Almost equally prestigious.
Not, yes, but
It's
the
sponsored
work
by
is
Bill
very
Gates.
different. The work is very different. So roads they have a quota for every country. Gates is usually for America. So
Okay.
there is a deadline for American students that deadline expires first, and after the American deadline has passed, then they open it to rest of the world. So usually the people who are in Gates scholarships are usually American citizens. That's
Okay.
how it happens. And I don't think it is unfair because the endowment was provided by Bill Gates, so it's understandable.
Yeah. Yeah. So talking about your scholarship, AHRC DTP, do you mind giving us a rundown of the breakdown, like how much you get paid, the stipend, and all?
Sure,
You
sure,
get paid
sure.
a living
It's all
stipend, right?
public. It's all public. I
Yeah.
don't have to. I don't have to hide in anything. So it's all public, available on online as well. So
Yeah.
I don't have to pay any fees to my university. It's all free. So technically, AHRC pays around 5,000 ish pounds to Cardiff, and Cardiff waived off the rest 15,000. So usually it's around 22,000 a year for international students, and Cardiff agreed to waive it off. And usually they waive it off because once you are a DTP student, you are an asset to the institution as well. So it is in their own interest to waive off a lot of fees, because you as a student are will bring in a lot of research expertise and also research trips and all. They can show it in their research register, in their ref training and all. I'll talk about ref later, but yeah, that's how it works. And then for the money part, I get paid around 1,700 a month. But yeah, that's it. And if I spend anything more than that, they are not responsible. So
Okay.
technically, they give you a certain amount, and how much you can save if somebody has a doubt in them, and how much you can save. It all depends on your lifestyle. It all depends on which city you're in as well. So
Okay.
AHRC has only one guideline. If you are inside London, you get paid way more. It is around 2,300 ish if you are inside London. If you're outside London, it's 1,700 ish. But London is very costly. London is very costly, so it basically equals out to that. So technically, a house of the size that I am living in, I get it. Let us say if this is 500 in Cardiff, you can expect to pay around 1,000 or maybe more than that in London. So yeah, it's justified. That's how it works. And then I'm also entitled to get any kind of refund on any research trip that I take. Let it be a conference, let it be a training program somewhere, or let it be a lecture. I'm entitled to get funding for that separately from the stipend that I get. So yeah, but even for applying for that, you should have a rationale. You just can't say that, okay, I just want to go some random lecture. You should have a rationale for that.
Okay. So I think I remember you telling me that flight tickets are dirt cheap there, right? You can go to Europe for the weekend and
Yes. Yes, but you need a Schengen visa for that. I technically don't have one because I did not get time, and getting a Schengen slot in the UK is very difficult. Getting a Schengen slot in India is easy. It's very easy. Trust me, getting a slot for any Schengen country in UK is difficult because of the embassies only being in London and maybe one or two consulates in Edinburgh and Manchester and nothing else. So yeah, and the flight prices are really cheap. So technically, if I have to speak in rupees, Bristol Airport is like 1 hour away from my place. If I go to Bristol Airport, I can fly to Paris in 1,500 rupees. So it's that cheap.
1,500 rupees.
Yeah, yeah, 15. It's around 14 pounds or something. Yeah, that's it. 14 pounds is a flight ticket to
All right
Paris.
then. Living the dream, I see, right?
Well, I did not go to Paris, so technically not yet.
All right. Next doubt. You mentioned Chevening scholarship earlier, right? So I
Yes.
remember reading that a person who got Chevening scholarship has to come back to their country of origin after studies, right? They're not allowed to stay there and work, I think.
Well, that all I have. I mean, I wouldn't say I have a very good knowledge of Chevening scholarship per se, but that clause is there even in the central government scholarship which they give for OBC, SC, and STs. So technically, they have to come back, but I I am also aware that there are people who are staying back.
Okay.
So yeah, there are ways out of that as well.
All right, all right. So this is more of a general question.
Uh,
They keep changing the visa rules there, right? Work visa rules, so that
yeah.
do not overstep their welcome. So do you want to comment on that? Like, I mean, is it feasible to go for a master's or a higher educational degree there in UK if your goal is staying back and working instead
See,
of coming back?
yeah, so this is a very good question, and yeah, I can answer this because I've been in the UK for a year now. So, your decision of coming to the UK and studying here, or maybe just settling down here, it's completely on you. Some people might like it, some people might not. I technically want to come back after my PhD because I like living in India. Although now I like to roam around, but yeah, I want to settle down. But this might not reflect with everyone's agenda or everyone's lifestyle, right? So I'm pretty aware of that. So the visa rules correct technically state that you are not eligible to get a like retrospect. It can't work, but until my batch, it is you can get around 2 years of post study work visa if you're a master student, and you can get
Okay.
3 years post study work visa if you're a PhD. So, but for a post study work visa, you need to pay for the visa as well. That is not a glamorous route, is what I would say. Uh, Always, if you come to the UK, go get the skilled worker visa. But getting a skilled worker visa comes with its own problems and comes with its own challenges because to get it, you need to at least have a salary of 36,000, 36 or 38,000 per year. Uh, that is what's required, or else you are not eligible. Uh, but with the post study work visa, you are paying for the visa, but there is no such litigation stating that okay, you need to earn this much, right? So that's a
Right.
temporary visa. But for a skilled worker visa, because a company is sponsoring you, or the institution or whatever you are in that's sponsoring you to stay over here and work, then they would require you to have a certain amount of salary. Only then they will be giving that to you. What I would suggest to coming to UK and not if you're coming for doctoral purposes, don't come without a scholarship. Uh,
Yeah.
I please just don't come without a scholarship. It is really difficult. I've seen people struggle a lot, and I can understand people coming from European countries and struggle because the currency is not that different, and yeah, the lifestyle wouldn't be very different. It might be a little bit costlier, but that's it, 10% or 20% more costlier. But if you're coming from India, don't do that because the rupee fell by around 15 rupees or so since I've come to the UK. So you wouldn't it's just in a blink of eye you will just realize that your debt is piled up. So if you are doing a PhD in the UK without a funding, then you will be spending around 80,000 pounds. 80,000 pounds is close to 1 crore. Don't do that.
Okay.
Don't do that.
All right. So that was pretty informative. That's all from my end. We'll now open the session for questions from the audience. Okay.
Sure.
If you have any questions, please jot them down in the chat box so that I can read it out.
Somebody has raised their hand.
Yeah. Raj Aryan.
Hello.
What's your question? Yeah, hello. We can hear you.
Okay. Am I okay? Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Padmanabha sir. Sir, I actually wanted to ask that it's very difficult to actually get the right format and right content that will get you a scholarship, because I'm talking about the PhD proposal, because like it's very difficult to actually understand what the selection panel is looking for. So could you please share also, like there is very less mentorship that is available for MA students who can actually take help from people who have written and successfully achieved a scholarship. So could you please share some insights regarding what should be the steps to ensure that my proposal is there and can pass through a panel? Thank you.
Sure, I'll answer that. With regarding the mentorship, I can't really touch on that because I never had one. Right, I had a really good mentor in Kerala called Ananthakrishnan, who helped me a lot with understanding core topics and all. I proofread. He proofread my proposal before I submitted it. But yeah, that was it. He was one of my gurus or mentors or whatever you want to call it. But I did not get a mentorship from someone who was already a PhD scholar having an AHRC in my time, because it is kind of difficult as well. The only way to reach out to them is to write to them through their mails, or maybe just ping them on LinkedIn if they are on them. But if they want to reply to you or not, I cannot guarantee that to you because of their own work commitments, right? So I can't expect everyone to reply to you back. That is one thing. The other part about what should go in the proposal, so that can pass through the panel. One thing that I would focus on is impact. Impact plays a major role. In India, we have a habit of finding gaps in the research, but which gap is actually worth filling? Just finding a gap doesn't mean anything. You need to find a gap that is actually worth filling. The minute you find a gap that's worth filling, then you will understand why is it worth filling, and that is your impact. Once you understand your impact, then half of your work is done. The second part is don't use jargons, as I said. If you use jargons, the panel is going to be confused, and the panel will not have time to Google all your jargons to look into Google and say, okay, this is what this person means. They'll not have that amount of time, because as far as I know, last year when I got it, there were around 700-ish people who applied, and there were 70 people who cleared the first round. So you're just looking at 10% of the people clearing the first round, and then 25 people among those 70 who got it, right? So you can't expect them. And are these 700 bad proposals? No. If two professors have said yes, all the 700 should be equally good proposals, or else they wouldn't say no to that. But one thing that you need to understand is the supervisors will say yes to you even if you use jargon, because it's their own area. If you use words like, let us say, specters to me, or spectral imagery to me, I'm just using a basic word, or epoche to me, I know what epoche is because I work in phenomenology. But for someone who doesn't work in phenomenology, what will you explain epoche as? You won't, right? That is the very point that I was focusing on. Don't use jargons, because your professor, your supervisors will be okay with you using jargons because they know what you're trying to say. But for someone who's sitting in the panel, who is looking at two or three people, or looking at a lot of applications, around 700, 800-ish applications of various varying degrees, they need something very objective to mark on. And if you use jargons over there, that is gonna ruin everything. Is what I would say. So don't use jargon. And there is no set, as I said, there is no set blueprint for a proposal, because all proposals might have been written differently. Focus on impact.
Yeah, I hope that answers your question. Padmanabha, you have another question. Can you talk about your research topic?
Not a lot, but yeah, I can just give a brief kind of overview of what I'm looking at. I'm looking at post-war literature in Sri Lanka. So I'm looking at after the war ended, how does the literature help us in understanding the reconstruction of cultural memory? That is what I'm looking at. I'm looking at through the idea of specters, the idea of ghosts and all, through using critical theory and then using also discourse analysis to an extent.
All right. So it falls under memory studies, right?
Yes, it falls under memory studies, trauma studies, and all this.
Okay. Any other questions? Please type your queries in the chat box, or you can raise
your hand as well. I'll try to answer all the questions. Yeah, so Himanshu, I cannot elaborate a lot on the topic due to legal restrictions from my side. I cannot exactly tell you what entails in my chapters and all, right? So I can just only give you an overview. So I hope that answers your question.
Are there any other questions? If there are no further questions, we'll wind up the session. 1 second.
CAS letter procedure. Should I answer this, Mithun?
Yeah.
Sure.
To answer this.
Yeah. So CAS stands for Confirmation of Acceptance of Studies. So this happens when you actually accept an offer from a university. So what happens is, if you're a UK student, you actually don't need this letter. But if you need a visa to come to the UK, you technically need a CAS letter, because that is what you use to apply the visa with, right? So you usually there will be a portal for your university's application, or however it happens. And then you will have an option regarding request for CAS, and there you will be having your own questions regarding what's your name and all, and then you'll fill it up and they'll just give it to you. And CAS letter, there'll be a number on the CAS letter that's called CAS number. That is extremely important, because the CAS application is the sole proof of your acceptance, and that will provide the visa officers in the High Commission to actually look into your own application and make a decision of whether to give this person the visa or not, because the details that you will be giving and the details that they will be having have to match.
One second, Padmanabha, I got another question here. What about the present scenario? I mean, what about the present scenario, especially in the context of DTPs? And, does it make sense to pursue doctoral study in the UK? And you said the rules are changing, right?
Yes.
So is it going to be more advantageous or more rigid or strict, or especially for us Indians?
Yeah, so I'll tell you how it might work. So
I think, excuse me. Yeah, I think you can combine this with another question. The question is, do you see a genuine possibility for career growth in academia ahead, as funding in universities is going down, right, globally? That is a real
Okay.
concern. So I think you can
Okay,
address
I'll answer both. I'll answer both together. So for the first part is the rules are changing. Yes, uh, it as far as I've heard, as far as the news came to me, it will be a bit different. It will be called the Landscape Awards from the 26 intake, and they'll most probably be following the European model. Uh, it is not very sure yet. We are not very sure of what the final rules are because the final rules aren't out yet. But as far as we can deliberate on that, we are basically thinking the universities or the DTPs themselves will give out guidelines or give out advertisements, not even guidelines. They will give out advertisements stating that okay, we are looking at this research area, so you can apply if at all you have an interest in this particular area, or if you are interested in working in this project, and then there'll be shortlisting based on that. We used to have this in the DTP itself. This was called as CDA, Collaborative Doctoral Award, but I think that now they are making it the sole way of getting the funding itself, rather than you pitching your ideas. They'll be giving out a, what do you call it, an advertisement, and you will be applying against that advertisement. This is not something very new, to be honest. This is new in the UK, but this has been happening in Europe, including Norway, including Denmark and all, since a long time. So this is not something very new to the academic space, right? So this is how it will work. If it is advantageous or not, I think it is not, because of a very good reason. Because earlier you could actually pitch your own ideas, but now your pitching won't matter. The main project itself matters, and then now the pitching will be reduced to what your approach is on that particular area, right? But this is also in one way advantageous. I would say that now you would know what the thrust area is actually. Now you would know, okay, you're applying to this particular area. So the one CDA that was advertised last year was colonial photography in India. This was an SWWTP. They actually announced a CDA for colonial photography in India, and that would be done in collaboration with the British Library and London Metropolitan Archives. So that was about to happen. I don't know who got it this year, because I haven't met the new cohort yet, so I have no idea who got it. But there was one notification last year. Uh, this might be the norm. This might be the norm, right? And then coming to that question where academia do you have a future in it? I don't know, to be honest. The funding situation is bad worldwide. AI is taking up, so I might not be very qualified to answer this. But what I would say is, if you're coming abroad, don't come on a self-funded basis. Even if there is a future, just please don't come, because it is just too much at stake. You'll be spending around 1 CR, which is, you can just buy a house, guys. You can just buy a house, put it on rent, and live a good life. Don't spend that amount of money. If I had that amount of money, I wouldn't have been doing a PhD. Just kidding. But yeah, you get what I'm trying to say. I'm doing a PhD in the UK because I got the funding, not the other way around.
Yes, yes. Yeah, so we have a simple question here. Can we be offered scholarship if the MA transcript hasn't yet been published, or would it be a conditional offer?
Yeah, good question. I got the scholarship before my MA transcript was given to me. So yeah, that's completely fine, because I remember I submitted the application in Jan 22nd, 2024. I was still in my master's at that time, right? I was still in Stephens, and then I gave my final examinations in May, June, and I got the mail from the DTP on 30th of May. 30th of May, I was still giving my final semester examinations. I was in between examinations. So technically I haven't completed my master's yet, but I was still given it. So then you have already gotten it. Now you have to negotiate this with your institution. So in my case, Cardiff offered me to provide an offer letter, unconditional offer letter, just by providing my undergrad transcripts and undergrad degree. I kind of told them, if you want my postgrad transcript, we need to wait. So they said, it's all right. We can provide you based on your undergrad as well. So that all depends upon your institution. But yeah, if you get the AHRC funding, no institute is gonna turn you back. That I can assure you on that. Can a scholarship be deferred in case? No, it cannot be deferred. An offer can be deferred. An offer from the university can be deferred, but a scholarship cannot be, because if you don't accept the scholarship in this particular year, then it will be given to someone else. It won't be given to you. You can't defer your offer, because there is someone else who's waiting for that scholarship as well. If the person was on a waiting list, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So Padmanabha, one last question. We have senior scholars in this group too. So can you talk about postdoctoral fellowships and similar opportunities?
Yeah. So postdoc fellowships, if you want to apply in the UK, you need to search for certain kind of fundings that are available. Certain universities will have their own fundings for postdocs. They'll release their own positions that might be open for worldwide. But the two most popular ones that people go for postdocs in the UK are Leverhulme funding and British Academy funding. But for both of them, you need to have a degree from the UK. Doesn't matter which degree, but yeah, you need to have at least one degree. So if you don't have a degree from the UK, you're not eligible to even apply for both of them. Those are the most prestigious ones. But yeah, it's not the end of the road. You still have early career fellowships and all across UK. And there is also something called as IASH in Edinburgh. One of my professors went there as a visiting scholar after her doctoral studies under Charles Wallace India Trust. And then you also have Marie Curie funding in Europe, and also different European universities have their own postdoc fellowships. So you need to search for specific institutions' postdoc fellowships rather than a single award. The single award, as I told you, there are mainly three: Leverhulme, British Academy, and Marie Curie. But for British Academy, there is also a limit. You can't apply for more than 2 times. So for instance, if you have applied for 2 times and if you have rejected, your chance is done. You can't apply for a third time. I am not very sure about this rule in Leverhulme, but yes, this is how it works. So for postdoc fellowships, I would suggest you all to look up into different university profiles itself, rather than a single award. Just do your research and yeah, you will get it.
Yeah, all right. That was such an incredibly productive session, Padmanabha. I cannot thank you enough. I now invite Ms. Reddy V. Nair, second-year master's student, Nagar College, Maranalloor, Trivandrum, to deliver the formal vote of thanks.
Good evening, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, Reddy.
Good evening, everyone. It is my privilege and pleasure to deliver the vote of thanks on this occasion of the online session Navigating Opportunities, Scholarships and Doctoral Research in the UK. First and foremost, I extend our heartfelt gratitude to our esteemed resource person, Mr. Padmanabha Reddy, for sharing his valuable insights and experiences with us. Sir, your session has offered great clarity and inspiration to those aspiring to pursue higher studies and research abroad. A special word of appreciation goes to our Director, Reverend Father Suryak Manatul CMI, Principal Dr. Jolly Jacob, and Academic Director Professor Dr. Devakumar PS for their constant encouragement and support in organizing such meaningful and informative sessions. We also extend our sincere gratitude to Professor Dr. Chitra VR, Head of the Department of English, and Mr. Mithun Murli, our Organizing Secretary, for their meticulous coordination and smooth organization of this event. We'd also like to thank all the faculty members and IQAC coordinators for their efforts behind the scenes, ensuring everything ran seamlessly. And finally, thank you to all the participants for joining us and being part of this enriching session. Once again, thank you all for your presence and support. Have a pleasant evening ahead.
Thank you all. The session is adjourned. That's all.
Thank you.
Thank you.